Check your mic. Yeah, mic's on.
Okay.
All online.
I said next year time, you can come over and be here next year.
The time is now 7:03. I'm going to call this meeting of the Bridgewater Town Council to order. Please join me in rising for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tonight's Town Council meeting is being live streamed via YouTube. Please go to the Town of Bridgewater Facebook page for the link. To start things off, I do have some condolences from our veterans agent. Please join me in recognizing Joseph Sancentino. Sorry, I should know this. Sansonito, sorry. U.S. Air Force, passed away on May 10th. Please join me in a moment of silence for Joseph. We also have condolences for Mr. John Flaherty, U.S. Marine Corps, passed away on March 27th. Condolences to him and his family. May you please have a moment of silence. Thank you. First up, item A, approval of minutes from previous meetings. We have the approval of the May 20th meeting minutes. Do I have a motion for approval and discussion?
Second.
Any discussions from counselors on the minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
One abstain since I wasn't here.
Okay, yes. Thank you. Okay, announcements from the president. I do have a few here tonight from the town clerk's office. Just a few notes on the upcoming special election. The last date to request a vote by mail ballot is 5 p.m. Friday, June 13th, so that is next Friday. For those that are expecting automatic ballot mailings, those only occur when you apply annually. So if you are expecting one, that's only going to come if you do that annually. So you can check your voter status online. Otherwise, in-person absentee voting is available right now until Friday, June 20th at noon during regular town hall hours, which are 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Thursday. And on Friday, those hours are 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. A number of people have already taken advantage of that, so please come in person if you'd like to vote absentee early. Town Hall will be closed on Thursday, June 19th in honor of Juneteenth, so you will not be able to come in and vote that day. Polls open for the special election for the override at 7 a.m. Saturday, June 21st. They will remain open until 8 p.m., and this is at the middle school, which is 166 Mount Prospect Street. Any other questions or information, please email one of the counselors or reach out to the town clerk. And also, in regard to some community economic development, it was recently announced from the governor's office that 106 Hale Street, which is a state-owned property, has been identified for redevelopment. RFPs will be issued by DCAM for the development of the property. And while we don't have control over the project, we do retain authority over zoning and permitting. And we're hopeful that the state is going to assist in providing water and sewer capacity. So we look forward to working with the state to hopefully get some assistance there. There will be a community open house for Vision to Reality headed by the CED, which is next Wednesday, June 11th from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. That will be at the Cedar Street Community Center. Some residents asked me about that project, which was announced yesterday, I believe, from the governor's office, so I wanted to just provide some information for folks who are asking. Other than that, that's all that I have. We do not have any proclamations, so we can move on to citizen open forum. Due to Massachusetts open meeting law requirements, discussions will not take place during public comment periods. If appropriate, responses to questions and concerns will be given by the town manager at future town council meetings. Anyone may comment for up to 3 minutes. Please keep your comments respectful, and I will give you a little sign that you've got about 30 seconds left. So would anybody like to come up and speak? Please just provide your name and address for the record.
Keith Buell, 10 Fieldcrest Drive.
Lisa Curley, 91 Atkinson Drive.
We're here as the 4th of July Committee to update you, the council, and also the town on some of the things that we're doing and where we stand right now, because obviously with what's going on in the world today, finances for everybody are tight, both business and private, and we are behind. Just so people who might be new, it costs us between $40,000 and $50,000 to put this event on each year.
It's 50 to 55,000. And currently, we have raised 20. With tomorrow being the 4th, we have 1 month to come up with the rest of it. I'm not going to give you all the figures, but I mean, between public safety, which first and foremost, can I remind the people of Bridgewater, it is not paid for by the town, so I don't want to go home tonight and see lots of comments about how we're talking about fireworks when we have a school in trouble. We get it, but it is all paid for by a small committee. We pay for public safety. That's the fire department, the police department. We pay for the porta potties. We pay for the pyrotechnics, obviously. Everything you see happening on that day has either been donated to us or we're paying for it. There is nothing given to us by the town of Bridgewater. So I just want to make that very clear for anybody watching out there. We are selling our T-shirts. This year we have 2 colors. Keith we didn't coordinate this, but it worked out real well. I stole my daughter's. We have the gray, the black. I think the black looks better. They're 20. They're expensive, we know, but we're trying to raise the money this year. We are very far behind. I have been doing this for almost 20 years now. I've headed up this committee, and we have never been this far behind, ever. So we're looking, like I said, at $25,000 that we need to raise. So anybody out there who's waiting for their last minute, you can get that donation in quick. It will happen this year because we've been pretty smart about what we do, and we'll have it for this year, most likely. But next year, if we go through everything we have this year, it's not going to happen. I can guarantee it. So.
Yeah, we are not the kind of committee that are going to overextend ourselves. We will cancel first before we would ever get in a situation where we wouldn't have the money to pay the people that are going to do the work. Just a reminder to people, Monday nights we're at Barrett's. There's going to be a golf tournament on the 23rd. All the information is on our website, bridgewatermass4th.org. We're selling T-shirts. We'll take donations from anybody and everybody. We'll come pick them up if you want us to. The other thing that has presented itself is that the prison usually helps us with cleanup the day after. They are going to be unable to do that because of
all the prison guards are on vacation.
So with the 4th on the Friday, that's Saturday, we are going to need help with cleanup. So if there are any Boy Scout groups, Girl Scout groups, civic organizations, Lions Club organizations, church groups, any group that wants to get involved on Saturday morning first thing to get the place back the way we found it, we will appreciate that. And you can find us again, Bridgewater residents, you can find me and Lisa both. You can find us 4th of July. And
we're there, you know how to find us. But just as a reminder, the committee is made up of 7 people. I'm going to guarantee you, I get in about 30,000 steps on the 4th of July. I do not want to get up on Saturday morning and clean that field. I've done it in the past. I don't want to do it again, at least by myself. I'm happy to help out, but I have been down there more times than I can count without any support. So you guys as our town councilors and the leaders that you are, by the way, congrats to the new guys, or ladies, sorry, Marilyn. Anyways, we're going to be looking towards you guys to help us out because we need to get people there that day and we need to get the donations coming in. I don't mean to make it sound awful, but it is pretty bad.
It is by far one of the best days in our town every year.
That's true too.
It is a day where we don't think about anything. We don't think about water or traffic or taxes or overrides or anything. We just go there together to celebrate the country's birthday as a community. Year in and year out, it's a day where everybody goes, even the traffic at the end, people no longer get as mad as they used to. But people, there will be traffic at the end. There is always traffic at the end, but it's just a perfect day for our town to show not only our community, but we get thousands of people from other communities. And unfortunately, we don't get financial help in that area. It would be great if we did, and it would be easier if we did, but It's Bridgewater, you know, and it's us, and it's going to take all of us.
Thank you, guys. We'll do our best to spread the word and support you. Thank you.
Could I just ask one question? On Saturday, what time do you guys start?
I'm
Whatever
gonna wanna
time the
see-
first group can get there.
I mean, I don't think there's any baseball. In the past, we have to get there first thing because they have a baseball clinic. I don't think there is one this year, and if it is, it'll probably not start till Monday. So I would say we could probably do a late start of like 9 a.m. I mean, we haven't got that far yet. We just found out about the prison yesterday.
ago.
Yesterday.
Okay, thank you.
So we're trying to be proactive and get it together.
Sorry we ran over our 3.
No, it's okay. It's worth it.
We get 6 because there's 2 of us.
Would anyone else like to come and speak?
Frank Souza, 596 Main Street. Do we still have a water shortage and a problem? I think the answer is yes. Did we all receive a letter from the water department telling us not to use water on anything outside, like washing your car, water your grass? My neighbor today was pressure washing her house. I called the water department. The truck came down. They went up the driveway. I guess they spoke to her. They left. She had been washing the house for over an hour. 10 minutes after they left, she's pressure washing the house again. I called the water department a second time. The woman was more interested in my name and my address than she was what I was having to say. And then finally she said, well, we couldn't stop them because we have to give them a notice. So does that mean if my pool needs water when I open it up, I didn't get a notice, I can put 3 inches of water in it? Does that mean I can water my new grass because I didn't get a notice? What's with this? Thank you. I hope someone looks into it because it was today. And I'd like to see if they have a record of it at the water department, if they have the complaint and what they've done about it. Because 3 hours of pressure washing your house when you have no water, to me, that's a problem.
Thank you. Any other citizens like to come up and speak? Seeing no more, we'll move on. Thank you very much for your comments. There will be another period at the end of the meeting. We'll move on to appointments next. We have Planning Board appointment, alternate member Chris Fabrowski, whose application is here in front of us. Do I have a motion for approval and discussion for Mr. Fabrowski's, or Chris's application here?
So moved. Second.
Any discussions from councilors?
We don't have just for the record, we do not have a resume for this. And we've asked for it in the past, and I would like to see resumes.
Just to make a comment, again, Mr. Fabrowski, I believe, is in construction and self-employed, so I don't think he probably has a resume for everything that he's done over the years. But anyone who knows the name, he knows he's been in business and has done a lot of building in this area for many, many years. So I'd be in support of his approval.
Noted. Any other comments from councilors? All those in favor of approval?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
8-1, motion carries. Next, we have Veterans Council appointment, Timothy Trocchio. This will be for a 2025 to 2028 appointment. Do I have a motion to approve? Second. Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion carries. We next have a Board of Assessors reappointment, Scott Rubin. Do I have a motion for approval?
So move.
Second. And do we have any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, the Board of Health reappointment, Guillaume Dogados. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
In a second, thank you. Any discussion on the reappointment? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Next, we have for a DEIB committee reappointment, Stephanie Simeon. Do I have a motion for approval?
Second.
And any discussion on the reappointment?
Yeah, I have a comment. It's kind of going to go for both, but for this, the DEI committee hasn't been functional. I don't really see the purpose of maintaining this committee. I know that's not the vote today, but I think filling the positions for a committee that isn't serving its purpose in the first place kind of sends the wrong message. I don't think the committee has a real true purpose. I think the purpose itself is extremely vague, unlike other committees we have here that have actual jobs and review things. So I'll be opposing just filling these slots. And these are the only 2 members even on that committee at the moment. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay. All those in favor of the appointment?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
No.
Okay, motion carries. Next up, Shirley Phillips, a reappointment for the DEIB committee. Do I have a motion for
So
approval?
moved.
Second.
Second, thank you, Ms. Striggles. And any discussion on this reappointment? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
And any opposed?
No.
No.
Okay, motion carries.
Is that 7-2?
7-2, yes. Okay, Disability Commission reappointments. David Frim, do I have a motion for approval?
So move. Second.
Second by Councilor Hunt, thank you. And any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next, also for the Disability Commission reappointment, Gloria Lemieux. Do I have a motion for approval?
So move.
Second.
And second, Councilor Murphy, thank you. And any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Next, moving down the list, Elder Affairs Commission reappointment, David Frim. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
And second, thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, for the Elders Affairs Commission as well, Deborah Heckbert. Do I have a motion for approval?
Second.
By Mr. Eagles, and second by Councilor Perry. And any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
And any opposed? Okay. Moving down to Mr. Douglas Dorr, same thing, Elder Affairs Commission reappointment. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Hunt. And any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
And any opposed? Okay, great. Next, Energy Commission reappointment, Carlton Hunt. Do I have a motion for
So moved.
approval? Mr. Lindy, and thank you, Councilor Striggles. Any discussion on the reappointment?
I have one question.
Sure.
Is it going to be difficult for Council Hunt to vote on these things because your husband's on it? Is that one of the residents wanted to know? A conflict of interest where the commission has, deals with money?
Yeah, I think it's more the appearance of the conflict of interest. So I think, yes, I think under the 268A, Section 23B3, acting in a manner that would make a reasonable person think you could be improperly influenced is prohibited. I don't think it matters if it's dealing with money or not. I think it would be a conflict of interest under that particular statute.
Okay.
All right.
Question? Could I? Oh, I'm sorry. So, Councilor Hunt could simply recuse herself on those matters. Would that be appropriate?
I would advise she does recuse herself on those matters.
It's fine with me. I recuse myself.
Okay. Mr. Murphy, did you have a comment? And then Councilor Kennedy, did you have a comment?
I just wanted to express the same concern, and the appearance, as pointed out, is not something that we can really get away from. So, and we have 2 positions for the same person that we're going to vote on, and I think we can. That's not avoidable, and I think that's how it will be viewed by the town as well.
Okay.
That's all.
Any other discussion on Mr. Hunt's appointment to this one is for the Energy Commission? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And one abstaining, so 8-0. That motion carries. Next, we have...
We have a no vote?
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. So let me redo that again. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And any opposed?
Opposed, no.
One. And when you have one. So that'd be 7-1. Sorry about that. Thank you, Sean. Okay. Next up, Community Preservation Committee reappointment. Again, Mr. Carlton Hunt. Do I have a motion for approval and discussion?
So moved. Second.
Second by Councilor Perry. And any discussion on this appointment? I know we just had a discussion on the previous one, but any discussion on this particular reappointment to the CPC?
Remaining recused.
Okay. Yes, Councilor Sturgis?
Thank you, Mr. President. I would just say that Mr. Hunt, Dr. Hunt, I apologize, has been a pillar of our community and has been very integral in the success of this committee over the last few years, that I've been able to benefit from seeing the work of the committee in this capacity. So I fully endorse this reappointment.
Thank you.
For the same reasons we just spoke about, the appearance is there. I would appreciate, obviously, Councilor Hunt is recusing herself, which I do appreciate, and I think that's appropriate. But for the same reasons, I would be opposed.
Okay. Any other comments or discussion from councilors? Nope. Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And any opposed?
No.
And that's 7-1. Thank you. Okay, moving on to hearings. Budget Order OFY 26-001, FY26 Annual Town Budget. This public hearing was advertised in the May 19th, 2025 Enterprise. The FY26 budget has been adopted pursuant to Section 6.3 of the Town Charter. We are going to open the public hearing at this time. It is 7:24 p.m. And we're looking for any general questions or comments from the public that would like to come up and speak. Seeing none. Would anyone from the public like to speak in favor? Seeing none. And would anyone from the public like to speak in opposition? Also seeing none. I will now open the discussion up to councilors. This is again on the FY 2026 annual town budget. Any discussion or comments from our councilors? Yes, Ms. McGrath.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you to the town manager. On the parking, is that an employee that does the parking? It says salary and wages, or is that the company that takes care of the parking back there?
I'm not sure what you're referring to, the parking.
It says parking, salaries and wages, $15,375, and expenses, $750 on the first page, under 166.
I'm afraid I don't have an answer for you.
Okay, I have one more question for you, though.
Okay.
So the next page, it says under 421, snow and ice. If we don't have a lot of snow and ice, does that roll over to the next budget?
We generally, I don't know how the figures, in front of me, but generally most communities under budget what they need for snow and ice, and it's the one account of all the ones that we have that you're able to deficit spend. So I would say generally whatever we've budgeted is likely insufficient to cover the costs throughout the year, and we raise the amount we need later on the recap sheet in the next year. So I would say the short answer to your question is no.
Okay, and one last one. Under the 510, the health department, do we have a Board of Health agent?
Yes, we do, Mr. Badger.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Mr. President.
Yes.
I just wanted to, through you to the town manager, just wanted to compliment the town manager and the finance department on a very well-prepared budget. Thank you.
You're very welcome. And if you could indulge me for 1 second,
Sure.
Mr. President, I just got an answer on the parking. That is overtime for parking enforcement by the police department. Thank you. Thanks to technology.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions for the town manager from our counselors? Okay. I just have a couple of comments. I just want to take the opportunity to affirm the role of us as a council, which is not only the policy-setting body of the town, but also the stewards of its finances. And this responsibility cannot be understated. And I'm just personally a little frustrated that due to scheduling constraints and due to how our charter is written, that we're in the position that we're in to have the budget passed by how the charter is written. Without the full deliberation of the council. I wish we would have had this hearing earlier. And I wanted to just recognize that the voters entrust us with oversight, leadership, and responsibility to set direction. And I can promise you that moving forward, this council is going to make every effort that it can, along with the Budget and Finance Committee, to be very proactive throughout this year in the budgeting process. Moving forward, starting with the employment of our new town manager, I want to ensure that we're going to set clear goals and objectives for the rest of the year and beyond. So you have that commitment from me. With all that being said, we will close the hearing at 7:29 p.m. And do I have a motion to approve the order?
So moved. Yep.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Moving on to license transactions. We have petition P 2025-024, granting of a common victualler license at 3 Broad Street. This hearing has been duly advertised in the May 19th, 2025 Enterprise. I'm going to open the public hearing at this time. It is still 7:29 p.m. And petitioner, would you like to speak on your request?
Just want to say, first of all, thank you for the opportunity. We're excited to be in town. So it's been a long journey here, but we're good to open. So I just want to get the final steps, abide by the regulations, the requirements that the town sets for. So I just want to get the convict license so we can go ahead and do that appropriately.
Great. And I'm sorry, I should have said this when I introduced this. Can you just talk a little bit about the business that's opening at 3 Broad Street?
Yes. So like everyone knows, it's 3 Broad Street. It's the old former D'Angelo's building. We should be opening up June 5th, and it's a tropical smoothie cafe. It's a franchisee location. I own it along with my father. So we're really excited, like I said, to be in the town. And it's just another kind of quick service restaurant with a little bit more of a healthier options than your typical kind of fast food. So you'll get all your fresh to made order smoothies, cafe, like wraps, sandwiches, salads, and the like. So yeah.
Sounds great. Okay. So at this time, I'll ask if there's any general questions from the public that would like to come up. Seeing none, any from the public would like to speak in favor? Seeing none, and if anyone from the public would like to speak in opposition? And seeing none. So now I'll open up to councilors. Councilor Sturgill for questions or comments for the petitioner.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. I don't have a question. I just have a compliment. Thank you for investing in our town, and thank you for bringing your business here. For one, I went to Bridgewater State, and I would have loved having a tropical smoothie cafe in walking distance from and in between classes. So I'm very excited for you, for your family, for your business, and I can't wait to watch it thrive. So thank you.
I really appreciate that. Thank you. I did join the Connect Card program, so a little salt on the wounds there.
Councilor Murphy.
Just like to echo Councilor Striggl's comments, but I do have a quick question for you.
Yes.
On the petition, it says the hours will not exceed Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 12 a.m., and then Sunday, 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. Do you know the exact hours that you're planning to open?
Yes. So we're going to be operating under revised hours, which is going to be a more standard window. So it's going to be a little bit more limited. So right now, Monday to Friday, it will be 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Saturday will be 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. And Sunday would be 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. But yeah, so they will be a lot shorter than that.
And then one more question.
Please.
Do you know how many employees that you'll have roughly?
So any given time, I'm planning on just around 4 or 5 in rotation, but in my roster, I currently have around 25 to 30.
Excellent.
Great.
Thank you.
Yes, Councilor Lindy.
As the counselor from District 2, where this is located, I just want to thank you for investing in our town, and it looks beautiful what
Thank
you've
you.
done so
Yes,
far.
it's been a journey.
I'm watching it because I walk there every day.
Thank you.
Councilor Kennedy?
Just wanted to echo the same. Thank you for coming to our town. We need the business, and thank you for investing in the community here. We appreciate that very much, so thank you.
And thank you for all the support.
Yes, and similar things. I just wish you the best of luck, and my office is just right down the road from you, so I'll be walking over there for some
Wonderful.
sandwiches and smoothies in the near future. So.
Thank you. And I will be offering a 20% discount to every single employee and member of the Bridgewater kind of government. So, yeah.
Right. Okay.
Maybe I should have mentioned that after the hearing. So.
Are we allowed to accept?
Wait a minute, this is
Don't exceed $50.
Yeah.
All right. Any further comments? I'll be the last one to just say thank you again. I love seeing empty buildings be filled with hopefully thriving businesses. So best of luck to you, sir. It is now 7:33 p.m. I will close the hearing and ask for a motion for approval.
Motion to approve.
By Mr. Lindy and second by Councilor Perry. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
best of luck.
Okay, moving on. We do not have any presentations tonight. I'll then ask the town manager for her report.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have two items to report on. First is the override education process. It's very much underway. Last night we had a presentation at the library for folks, and we're doing those presentations again this Friday morning at 10 a.m. at the Senior Center, and then next Tuesday night, the 10th, at the high school in the lecture hall from 6 to 8 p.m. The website's been up for a little while now, and we're continuing to add Q&A answers to any questions that we get. We really encourage people to keep sending them in. My team is answering some of them, and some of them we're giving to the school superintendent to answer on behalf of them. So I'm hoping that people are finding that helpful. Last night's presentation is already up on BTV, and they're going to be taping the one on July 10th as well for people to watch if that's more convenient for them to do afterwards. And then, as you mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, people can vote by mail if they send that in by June 13th, or vote in person here during business hours or on June 21st. So that's what's going on with it. If anyone has any questions, we're very much interested in getting answers out to them. Please call us, stop by, send us an email. We'd love to hear from people if we can help you.
Thank you. Questions or comments from councilors regarding the override education? Councilor Lindy?
Through you to the town manager, I just want to compliment you. It was very well presented last night and very easy to understand. And I think you and Laurie and the superintendent were able to answer a lot of questions. I'm going to try to go to all three so I can see if there are different questions from, different members of our constituency.
And we got some good questions last night. We're going to change up the presentation a little bit on the town side to try to make sure we hit those points, and any new questions we get, we'll continue to refine it.
Thank you.
Questions or comments from other councilors?
Just a comment that it was a very nice presentation and very informative and good responses to the questions. Thank you.
I had a couple questions from residents when we spoke about offline, which is a mail-in campaign, which I understand would be very arduous and expensive. Are there other ways that we could reach residents and educate them? I saw that the signs went out from, I don't know if they're from the firefighters or DPW that have the scrolling text on them. Are there any other outreach campaigns that we could explore from the town side?
Not really. I mean, the electronic message boards are a great way to capture people because people aren't used to seeing them out there all the time, so they're more noticeable when they're deployed, and they're big. I did ask the town clerk about the white signs, like at the end of Pleasant Street as you turn onto South Street, and a couple others, if those could be updated as well. People might look for those. Sending out a mailing at this point would be difficult. It's likely fairly expensive to mail, say, a postcard. And what I've understood from other communities is postcards, unfortunately, people get jumbled up with other mail that people is not first class, and they get ignored. So it hasn't necessarily been a good way to go about it. So we're not planning to do that. I think the social media has been very helpful between ourselves and other groups who are interested in the override, plus and for and against it, are certainly very active on various social media sites, and that, I think, in this day and age helps a lot.
Great. One more question from a resident. You mentioned the Q&A page, which has been very helpful. The last it was updated was May 28th, which was, I'm not sure, someone correct me if I'm wrong, was it last Wednesday? At what frequency is that being updated? Because a resident had questions and they were not answered, and they were submitted, to my understanding, around a week ago. So I was just wondering at what frequency those are answered.
We have the last batch we got, today's Tuesday, we gave about 6 of them. Were all school related to the superintendent. I think on Friday, so I'm waiting to get those answers back so we can put another update out in the next couple of days.
Okay, thank you.
But we're usually waiting until we get at least 5 or 6 before we put the page up again. We've updated it twice, I think, so far.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from counselors on override education?
Actually, I have one more. I'm wondering if there is a way to use the average household and put that into the tax calculator and maybe work with BTV to put that out on social media. Because I went in and spoke to Laurie Guarini to put mine in, because I didn't really understand how to do it properly. And she went through the steps with me. I'm just...
We could probably put a link on the website and maybe out there in social media, like on our Facebook page, to say, here's the link to the state's site.
Yeah.
And what all you need to do when you get there is put in your town and your assessed value. You have to know that in order to be able to fill it out.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure, thank you. Any other comments or questions? So next on the town manager's report, we have Good Waterway street sign update.
Unfortunately, I don't have good news on that. This is a private way, and as a private way, it's not town-owned. It's considered private property, and so it wouldn't be appropriate for us to even go help the sign be upright. I'm not sure if there's a homeowners association or a group that we can reach out to say, hey, can you take care of that? If anyone happens to know, I'd be happy to look into it.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments from counselors or questions for future meetings? Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you to the town manager. I heard from a lot of residents that there's a lot of speeding going on East Street, and they were wondering if there was any way that it could be monitored, maybe just for a couple of days. And the other thing is what we talked about in the finance and budget. If we could get a readout about what's been discussed about the water, because we hear there's a lot of things been discussed, but we like to know what the talk is and what's the results of Taunton, the prison, if we're going to do our own treatment. That's it.
Thank you. Any questions or requests for future meetings, Mr. Councilor Cunningham?
Through you to the town manager. I believe you received the email, so I'm just going to bring it up. It says to do with the cutting branches through power lines, and I believe you responded to it, or I was sent a response by a resident. It's one of those things when it gets brought to your attention, you start looking around yourself, and you're like, oh, this is quite a bit going on with this. So is there, did you contact National Grid about that? Okay. Are we waiting for a schedule from them? How long does that usually take? Is there any more information that I could provide just in general?
That's how I answered that resident, is we've asked and we haven't been able to get a schedule from them.
Okay. How frequently do they generally do that? Or I know it's on their schedule, it's not our schedule, but I know, okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or requests of the town manager? Okay, yes.
Can I just ask for a general roadways update, what the paving plan is for at least FY '26, if there is one, or if there's a plan that the DPW is putting together, what the status is for that? Thank you.
Councilor Ellenberg.
Yes, to Ms. Robinson, if you could just explain what Laurie Guarini told us about roadway improvements last night.
Are you asking that for now or for the next meeting? Is the question for her to?
Well, it was for her to discuss what was said at last night's meeting, and roadway stabilization fund and things of that nature.
I think it's probably appropriate to just have that on the next meeting, because that's going to come before you, obviously, at some point, right? Something to do with this. So I would say just maybe mark that, whatever your specific question is, and then she can follow up.
Is this an override question?
No, it's not. It's a budget question.
Okay.
Do you have a specific question that you want her to answer?
I think I would refer people to the tape from last night's meeting towards the end, and I think the explanation is right there for how it can be answered.
Any other questions? Okay, seeing none, thank you, Mrs. Robinson. We'll move on to discussions, which we do not have any on the agenda. Next, we'll go to committee reports. I know we have multiple committee reports. I'll start with Mr. Lindy all the way to my left. I believe CED has a report.
So CED met earlier this evening, and there's an item down under legislation for action B that I can speak to at that point.
Sounds good.
We also discussed meeting dates that are not in conflict with the Budget and Finance Committee, possibly on the Tuesdays that we don't meet as a council.
Mm-hmm.
At like 6 o'clock in the same room, because we only have this room and that room.
Yeah.
And we also talked about future topics. We started a list of different things we'll talk about at CED, and how to bring, different specialists in, like planning board and CED chair and things like that.
Great. Looking forward to the work that you guys do.
Thank you.
I believe Councilor Murphy has an update. Budget and Finance.
Budget and Finance updates. It looks like most of them are in the legislation for action, so let me do it then.
Yeah,
I can
sounds
give them
good.
as we go through.
Yeah, we don't have to do it twice. So. And rules and procedures, Councilor McGrath.
Yes, we met, we had 5 items, 4 of them on the agenda, one's in finance and budget. It's still in there, it's going to be on hold. We're looking at that a little bit longer. And we're looking at charter changes that we pulled from rules and procedures that's been sitting there from 2021.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you for those reports from the chairs. Next, we'll move on to item L, legislation for action. First thing up is Order O-FY25-063, acceptance of gift from the Bridgewater Police Association. Finance Committee voted 6-0 to recommend, and then I will defer to Councilor Murphy for the Budget and Finance comments.
Yeah, extremely generous gift. The Budget and Finance Committee voted 3-0 to approve.
Great. Thank you.
Approve.
Do we have a motion for approval?
Second.
Councilor Striggles and Councilor Perry, thank you. And any discussion on this item? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
And any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next, excuse me, FY25-064, in order creating an ad hoc TIF oversight committee for 60 to 86 Broad Street. I know that CED met earlier today, so I'll ask for Councilor Lindy to give an update.
So CED voted 2-1 to not recommend this to the council. We believe that, 2 of us believe that it should be in the CED committee, which is one of the purposes of the CED committee, and in our own rules and procedures, it does not allow for the town manager to make appointments to an ad hoc committee. That's a council responsibility.
Okay. So with that being said, I'll ask for a motion for approval, and then, of course, further discussion.
So moved.
Thank you, Councilor Perry, and second by Councilor Striggles. It sounds like we'll have some discussion on this one. Councilor Striggles.
Thank you, Mr. President. As the vote to recommend that we create an ad hoc committee, I just wanted to explain my findings when it came to that. So after the due diligence that I've done, not only in this council role, but my knowledge of TIF requirements, I deem that it is something that needs to be done on a very micro level and a micro scale to ensure that we are being mindful of time of not only the developer, but time as well as precision where we are just focused solely on something like that versus every other need that the town may have when it comes to community and economic development. It's very, very, very specific, and we need to get it right the first time. So I feel personally that an ad hoc is our best chance at getting it done in a timely manner, in a truncated way, where we're maybe even having the ad hoc meet every week until it's ready to go, and we're just getting it done versus having it be something that a committee has to do. So I just wanted to justify my opposition vote.
Thank you, Councilor Striggles. Further discussion from councilors? Councilor Perry?
Yes, just to expand upon that, we've done ad hoc committees before for things such as gaming in Bridgewater, when potential for gaming was coming. Again, that's community economic development, but that was a very specific situation. This is the first time a TIF has come across the board of the town too. So as Councilor Striggles said, to look into and dive specifically into this one in a lot of depth, I don't think an ad hoc committee would be out of reason for this. As pointed out in what we did before in searching for the new town manager, when the ad hoc was formed, those appointments would come from the town manager.
Noted.
I'd like to say something as someone who supported it within the, that I think it is a complex thing that needs to be done, and I think the CED is designed to oversee the community and economic development issues coming through the council. I think part of that is to call people in to help explain things to us that might be beyond what we're used to doing or what we've learned so far. And I would imagine that the CED would ask for help from the departments here in town to come up and explain things to us and work it through with the TIF and other things. We've read it all. We understand it, but we haven't ever done it before. So I think asking the people who've done it before to come in and assist our committee. I believe that's what the committees are for, is to look to a certain thing that they're appointed to do and then ask experts to come in and help them if it's something they haven't done before. So I'd like to have the regular CED committee, as it's comprised, be able to do that within their committee and ask help from the departments here in town or from other people who could come in and advise us on that, so that we have a chance to learn more about what needs to be learned to be members of that committee.
Thank you. Other comments from councilors? No further comments. I do have some comments. So I, along with Councilor Murphy, put this forward, and after hearing your comments and reviewing what we originally proposed here and thinking it through and listening to Councilor Striggles as well, I would be interested in potentially opening this up to additional members beyond the town council for a more permanent position within an ad hoc, whether that be all the members of CED or some of the members of CED. I personally would like to see the, you just throwing names out there, perhaps the town planner or somebody from the finance department in this ad hoc. Again, it's very, very specific. I know that our town planner, just speaking to him, has direct experience dealing with the TIFs. So I would like to see just a fully engaged, not necessarily a full-time, but a fully engaged group. Not that you wouldn't be fully engaged, but I would like to see that appointment so that these folks are going to be held accountable to doing their diligence. So I would entertain if a councilor would like to make a motion to perhaps expanding this to 4 or 5. I will leave that up to you all to potentially make that motion or discuss.
So move.
Seconded.
So discussion on the amendment. So what we would be amending would be the committee shall consist of 3 members of the town council appointed by the town manager. That would be opened up to 4 or 5. So maybe we discuss that further.
Question, can we keep this at the council level?
Well,
so that the appointment is not from the town manager, but from the president of the council?
Well, the town charter dictates that the town manager makes those appointments.
I
yes.
agree.
Correct.
Town manager makes the appointment. The thing that does need to be added is that the appointments are ratified by the town council.
Is that here at the end?
Is it in this?
Oh, I'm not sure.
In section 2, I only see the committee shall consist of 3 members of the town council appointed by the town manager, which is accurate, but I think you need to include, but shall also be ratified by the town council. So the town manager always makes the appointments, but the council has the authority for ratification.
Okay.
So, Mr. President, yeah, I'll just, so make the motion that that line should read, the committee shall consist of up to 5 members, with 3 members being members of the town council, appointed by the town manager and ratified by the town council.
Do I have a second for that motion?
Just a point of order. Was there already a motion to amend this? It was just an unclear motion to amend it?
Yes, I
It was
made
too
the
vague?
motion. I could rescind my motion for amendment, and then Councilor Perry will make his motion for amendment.
Could you read that one more time? Sorry.
So, yeah, so we'll say that the committee shall consist of up to 5 members, with 3 members being from the town council, appointed by the town manager and ratified by the town council.
Could I ask a question? Yeah. Why up to? Why not just 5, so you won't have a tie?
Only in case you wanted to go either 4 or 5, it gives you up to 5.
But if you had 4, you might have a tie on some votes, doesn't?
Again, that's
make
just,
it-
like I say, it just gives you the flexibility to go
Okay.
4 or 5 as well as this.
All right, thank you.
Any discussions on the amendment?
I just had a question, maybe defer to legal. I know that we've talked about in the past mixing employees and town councilors, potential issues with that. I don't know if you could speak to that, or...
I mean, I think the way that you currently have it drafted gives the town manager the flexibility they would need to appoint who they felt appropriate without you dictating that they have to have someone in that role and they, as the employer of that person, has to put them in that role. So I think the amendment actually suits both the charter and possibly what you're looking to have done.
But would there be any concern about if there's a chair of this committee and an employee as a member of the committee, wouldn't the chair have purview over that employee? Which
No,
would?
this committee is advisory in nature, so I don't think this committee actually is voting on anything other than looking at this and coming back to the council with a more specialized recommendation about next steps. So I don't think that the chair of that committee would have any purview or authority over anyone appointed by the town manager, and I think by not stating specific positions having to be on this, you're not saying that the town manager actually has to appoint anyone. You're saying there's up to 5, and if the town manager feels like it will help the council or this ad hoc committee to have someone specific on there, they, in their role as employer of that person, could do that. So I think what you've proposed is appropriate.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Thank you for the explanation. Any further discussion?
Could I just do a bit of, oh, sorry. Go ahead if you want, go ahead.
Mark? Councilor Lindy was
Mark
one
just
of...
said
Councilor, I'll
something.
recognize
Lindy.
Councilor Lindy.
Okay.
I'm deaf in that ear.
Yeah, that's right. You
Yeah.
can't hear in that ear. I just truly think that this is taking away the role and responsibility of the Community and Economic Development Committee, and I urge you not to go down this path.
Okay. And Councilor Hunt?
That was something I was going to say. When you talk about 3 counselors, are you talking about the 3 on the Community and Economic Development Committee? So that they could be learning from the finance director, from whoever else is going to help the building department, so that they could learn from this, since this may not be the last time anything like this ever happens in Bridgewater. I think it's I mean, I've been doing a lot of reading on it, a lot of studying up on it. I'd like to know what good the Community and Economic Development Committee is to the council if every time something comes up, other people are appointed to learn about and make those decisions and bring them back to the council.
Gotcha. And Councilor Kennedy?
So we're currently, it's 4 or 5?
Yeah, it would be 3.
I just said up to 5.
Up to 5.
Up to 5.
I'd like to make a motion to amend that to 5.
To 5. Do I have a second?
Second.
And any discussion on the amendment to have that be 5 and not up to 5.
So can you read that? I just want to make, because
Yeah.
if you're talking 5 counselors, now you're just creating a town council.
No.
No.
So I
The
just wanna make
motion, the motion to amend is just moving the minimum from 2 town employees, from a possibility of 1 or 2 to 2 town employees, so a total of 5.
I don't think you can say town employees
we're
because
not-
you
I
can't
did not-
dictate.
yeah.
You can say 5.
I said the committee so the committee shall consist of 5 members, with 3 of them being town council members.
Okay.
And the town manager then will
Sure,
appoint,
okay.
and
Appointed
you
by
all.
the
The town manager has the
ratified by
purview
the
to
town
appoint that.
And
Okay.
if you feel like the ones that are being appointed shouldn't be ratified, then that will kind of start the process indirectly of filling those spots.
Okay.
Do you want to keep your motion as definitively 5, or we could stick with up to 5?
Yeah,
Well,
I'd like to keep the motion.
Okay, and that is up for discussion right now. So do I have further discussion on definitively 5? Seeing none, let's do a roll call vote on 5, please. Debbie?
Mr. Kennedy?
Aye.
Ms. Ellenberg?
Yes.
Ms. Striggles? Ms. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Loretti?
Yes.
Dr. Perry?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Ms. Hunt?
Yes.
And Mr. Lindy?
No.
8 in favor, 1 opposed.
Okay, so now what I'll entertain is a motion for approval as amended, which, again, under 2, the committee shall consist of 3 members of the town council, up to 5 members, not up to 5, 5 members total, appointed by the town manager, ratified by the town council. Do I have a motion for approval and discussion?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Striggles and Councilor Perry. Further discussion on the measure as it is amended.
I just want to clarify that you're not talking about the Community and Economic Development Committee being the 3 members. Is that correct?
This would be an ad hoc appointed by the town manager, and it may or may not include members of the CED.
Okay.
Just a point, we have a new town manager coming on board very shortly. I believe we should leave this to him. No offense to the present town manager, but he's coming in, we need his expertise, and I don't think we should move forward at this moment.
Noted. Any further discussion? Okay. Councilor Ellenberg.
Yes. The ad hoc committee could be meeting, and we could post for general meetings with the CED as well. So, I mean, if other people are appointed, you folks could participate.
Noted.
One more point.
Sure.
I just think it bypasses CED completely.
Okay. All right. Debbie, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Sure. Mr. Lindy?
No.
Ms. Hunt?
No.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Dr. Perry?
Yes.
Mr. Loretti?
Yes.
Ms. McGrath?
Yes.
Ms. Striggles? Yes. Ms. Ellenberg?
Yes.
And Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
7 in favor, 2 opposed.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll move on to FY25-065, acceptance of a grant from the Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs. Finance Committee voted 6-0 to recommend in their June 2nd meeting, and I'll defer to Councilor Murphy on Budget and Finance.
Yeah, if I could we defer to the town manager just for the explanation? I think she did a great job explaining this in the Budget and Finance.
So the town had applied for a grant to relook at its its open space and recreation plan. Every community is required to have one in order to be able to apply for various grants for open space and recreation opportunities that arise. Ours had expired. The state has taken quite a few months to finally award this, but they have, and so the $40,000 will be spent over this fiscal year and next to complete an update to that plan, and in accordance with the Open Space Committee.
Thank you.
Just to add, I think given all the open space conversations, the Budget and Finance, all the open space additional area that the town has added, Budget and Finance discussed this, thought it was a great opportunity, times out well, given that extra adage. And we approved it 3-0.
Great. Thank you, sir. And do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Ellenberg. And further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
And any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next, FY25-066, transfer order flagpole returning funds to the one-time stabilization fund. The Finance Committee voted 6-0 at their meeting to recommend, and Councilor Murphy.
No additional comments. We voted 3-0 to recommend as well, too, in Budget and Finance.
Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilor Ellenberg. And any further discussion? Yes.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just have a comment. Being that there was a fundraising effort to offset this cost, can we find out what is going to happen with those funds? I think that that would be good for the public to know.
Certainly, yes.
Yes, I've been in touch with Miss Lisa Bazell Curley, and she was just waiting for this to potentially take place so she could start the process of refunding people back monies for the bricks purchased.
I'll speak to her directly, but I have already donated to the 4th of July. I plan on just rolling my donation for the bricks over to the 4th of July committee. So I think that if people did do that, maybe give them that option, because I think a lot of people might do the same.
Any further? Sure.
I don't know if this is appropriate, but a question. Is there any way that we can do anything as a town for the 4th of July?
That would be a question for the town manager.
Not at this late date, given that we've got one meeting left before the end of the fiscal year. Wouldn't be able to process an order before July 4th. Something to think about in future budget years.
Mm-hmm. Maybe for next year. Yeah, perhaps for next year. And I think the best thing we could do as counselors is just to continue to promote as best we can and do that outreach. So going back to the measure, the transfer order, do I have...
I'd like to say just one quick thing about
Sure.
that with the transfer order, because the money that was collected, I don't believe there was any money collected for the flags. There was money collected for the bricks that are going to go in to hold the flag poles, and I believe there is some action being considered for another place to put those flag poles here in town where the bricks could still be used. So having known that, it's nothing that I can advertise yet, but knowing that now, I have talked to Lisa Bazell Curley and to Keith both and said, why don't you hang on to your money long enough to be able to move to that. I'd give that same suggestion perhaps for the town money. That's what I tried to say last time. I mean, there's someplace else that these flag posts might be put on town land with the bricks around them, which would be a very nice thing to do. It hasn't been worked out all the way yet, and so we can give the money back, but I just wanted to put that out there and say that I think they're trying to hold their money for the bricks until they see if this moves forward.
Okay. Councilor Perry?
Yeah, unfortunately, like I said, this transfer order was for this location specifically.
Mm-hmm.
So without, having this as the location for these flagpoles, I wouldn't feel comfortable, offering or suggesting a different location for these and having this appropriation be hanging out in the wind. So I think the appropriate thing to do is to send this money back, and if that presents itself down the line, then a new order could take in place.
Understood. Okay. Councilor Kennedy?
Yep. I think the appropriate thing to do is to send it back as well. What we are kind of seeing right now is that there was a fundraising effort put forward to fundraise for these flagpoles, and then there was a rush to institute the flagpoles due to the timing of the flag being raised, and the fundraising hadn't met its goal yet. So then we spent tax money to do the flagpole anyways, even though that goal wasn't met. So I think what we're kind of seeing right now is if products like the bricks were bought, that is unfortunate, but at the same time, the money wasn't raised, and this was kind of rushed through, which wasn't appropriate because it didn't go as explained to the voters or the citizens in town. So I think it's appropriate to send it back, and then if something comes before us again, then we discuss it again.
Sure. Any further comments?
I'll make a comment just because Councilor Kennedy made that comment. I don't believe it was rushed through. I believe that it was vetted appropriately. And so I totally disagree with that statement there. I will support putting the money back into the account because I believe that's the right thing to do. But to say it was rushed through, from my standpoint, I believe is inaccurate.
Noted. Any further discussion? Okay. Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Moving on, order FY 25-067, end of the year transfers. Finance Committee voted 6-0 to recommend at their June 2nd meeting. Budget and Finance, Councilor Murphy.
Yeah, for folks following along, I think, again, Town Manager did a great job, along with the Finance Director, breaking this down. On the top portion of the order itself is a lot of essentially unspent salary from roles that weren't filled or early retirements, and so that money was then moved over to cover the costs of what you see on the bottom part of that order. They gave a great summary of line by line, and so we voted 3-0 to approve.
Thank you. Do I have a motion for approval and any discussion?
So moved.
Councilor Perry.
Second.
And second by Councilor McGrath. Any discussion on this item? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next, we have ordinance FY 25-010, proposed amendment to Chapter 157, Article 2, Section 1. This is on the POW flag, POW MIA flag. I will defer to Councilor McGrath. I know that this was sent to Rules and Procedures, and you voted 3-0 to recommend, but I'll defer to you for any further comment.
Thank you, Mr. President. We did recommend for it to pass because this flag represents 82,000 servicemen who remain unaccountable, and they are our fellow Americans. It was suggested that we make an amendment where it says at the very first line, whereas, instead of in accordance, it in the spirit of, with the federal public law.
Okay, so what we'll do is, well, first I'll need a motion to approve this. I'm sorry. No, we're I'm sorry. We're going to refer this to advertising. So help me out, Counselor. Motion to amend, and then we send it to advertising.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you. So I'll entertain a motion to amend, as Councilor McGrath said. That would be whereas in accordance with the Federal Public Law 116-67, the National POW MIA Flag Act, which states the POW MIA flag is required to be displayed at specified locations to all days on which the U.S. flag is displayed. So do I have that motion for amendment?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Sturgles and Councilor Lindy. Any further discussion on the amendment?
I do. There's an additional part that was kind of brought to my attention. The end of that first paragraph where it says which states the POW, it's not 100% accurate with the statement. It's also not needed. So if that was removed, that's the only other thing I had.
I'm sorry, Councilor.
So
Can you read that one more time?
It says which states, and then the POW MIA flag is required. It's in the first paragraph.
Okay.
That line there, it's just not accurate. That was brought to my attention, so that could be amended as well and just removed. So it would say, whereas in the spirit of, with the Federal Public Law 116-67, the National POW MIA Flag Act, and that would be it in the first paragraph.
I would second that.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion to amend the amendment.
A second.
And then seconded by Councilor Murphy. Any discussion on the amendment?
So we're striking which states, is that the amendment?
Yeah, which states and everything that follows.
Got it. Any further discussion? No? And all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed to the amendment? Seeing none. So now we do have the ordinance up for referring to advertising. Do I have a motion to refer to advertising?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Perry and Councilor Sturgles. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Okay. Next we have G, proposed ordinance FY 26-016, Bridgewater Town Charter, Article 3, Section 4-3, elected officials' powers of appointment. Rules and Procedures did vote 3-0 to recommend with an amendment. I will defer to Councilor McGrath on this one.
Thank you, Mr. President. Where it says, right after the ordinance, it says Bridgewater Town Charter, Article 3. That should be Article 4. Then it says Section 4-3, elected officials. That should be Town Manager. And the line under that says, ordered that the Town Charter, Article 3, should be Article 4. And then the line underneath where it says multiple member appointment organization, it should read boards, committees, and agencies.
Okay. Entertaining a motion to make those amendments.
So moved.
Thank you, Councilor Sturgill. And a second?
Second.
Councilor Lindy. Any discussion on those amendments?
Not on the amendments, no. Sorry.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So now we do have the ordinance here for consideration. This would be to send to advertising. I do have a question for our town attorney. It was brought to my attention immediately before our meeting that we may not be following proper procedure for a charter amendment in how we're currently doing this. I'm not sure if you've had the opportunity to review.
I haven't looked at it, but you can amend the charter in the way that you're proposing, because if you vote the amendment, all you're voting to do is to then send it to the voters. We can rewrite the language to suit that, but really what you're voting on is to send to the state legislature upon approval. You also will be sending to the voters of the town of Bridgewater. So there are next steps after this. So what are you referring to when you don't think you're doing it properly?
Yeah, I think you just hit on that, that it does mention in Section 3 here in Article LXXXIX that the petition for adoption shall be signed by at least 15% of the legal voters.
Oh, no, that's a different process.
Okay.
Totally different process. So there are multiple ways for you to make changes to the charter. The way in which you're proposing making a change is as the body politic voting to change the charter and then seeking approval of both the state legislature as what's called a special act. So it's approval by the state and then approval by the voters. I think what you're referencing is the part of the charter that relates to citizens' petitions for changes.
Okay.
Two totally separate processes.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you for clarifying.
Yes.
So do we need to make any amendments to this before we refer to advertising?
I think you're fine to refer it to advertising at this point. You may want to fine-tune some of the language, but it's coming back before you. I think that the essence of what you're looking to do is here.
Okay.
And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but the essence of what this proposal is that the town manager still appoints all boards, committees, and agencies except for ad hoc committees that you all create, and you have to vote by a 2/3 majority. Is
Yes.
that okay? Yeah, so we can maybe fine-tune the language a little bit to make it read a little clearer, but I think it's fine to go to advertising.
Great, thank you. Okay, so do I have a motion for approval?
Motion to refer to advertising.
Sorry, yeah,
as
motion to,
amended.
yeah, thank you. Motion as amended to refer to advertising. Thank you, Councilor Lindy, for the second. Any further discussion? Oh, yes. So that, yes, this was listed in your amendments. We just forgot to read it into the amendment earlier. So again, back to Councilor Rollins. Can we refer to advertising and then make that amendment?
You can make that amendment when it comes back.
Okay.
You're fine to refer it out to advertising as it is, and then you can certainly amend it at that time before you vote, because you still have time to take, you can
Sure.
amend again and take a final vote. And ultimately, again, it needs to get approved by the state, and it also needs to get approved by the voters. So there's going to be several more steps in the process. But I think you're safe to send this to advertising, because I think the essence of this is really that you all are looking to appoint your own ad hoc committees. That's the essence of what we're talking about.
Correct.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay. All those in favor of sending to advertising?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Which
thank
is
you.
exactly the opposite of what we just did earlier. Just for the record.
Noted. Okay, next, we have proposed ordinance FY 25-017, proposed amendment to Part 2 of the Administrative Code, Chapter 60, Article 1, Section 1. This is on elections, specifically the timing of elections. Rules and Procedures voted 3-0 to return to the Town Council for further discussion at their meeting, and I'll defer to Councilor McGrath on this one.
Thank you, Mr. President. We wanted to look into whether the changes go against the laws of the Commonwealth, and Kennedy, Council Kennedy is looked into it, and he'll respond for our committee.
I just want to look into it further to make sure that it was in line. The state has guardrails for voting times, and they change based on whether it's a statewide election or whether it's a local election. Our current code just is basically a copy and paste from the state, but it allows some movement in there. And I know what you're looking to do is codify specific time slots. So what I was able to find actually was that it is within our purview to do that as a town council. If the town clerk, we can supersede the town clerk essentially in doing it. So it seems like it's all set.
Great. So what I'll look for now is a motion for approval, to send to advertising,
Could I
and
add
then
one?
further discussion.
Could I add one thing?
Well, let's get the motion for consideration.
Sure.
Thank you, Councilor Stiggles, and second by Councilor Perry, and discussion.
Okay. I think the town clerk is currently trying to do some accounting with the upcoming election to see what it's like if the hours would be shortened. So keeping track of it and seeing what it really is to have the earlier voting and the later voting, and not just the middle. And she has asked that we not do anything until we can see that calculation and use that as something to judge by.
Noted. Any further discussion or comments from councilors?
Yeah, I would just say to second that, I also had a chance to talk to, sorry, my computer's dying, so my back is to you. I had a chance to talk to our town clerk as well, too. She shared that with me as well, too. And I was wondering if folks would feel, from my standpoint, I would feel comfortable continuing or further pushing this down the line just until we got those numbers. I don't think anything would change. If we left it as is, our hours would still remain the same, but I would love to see the data on voting hours and when folks are appearing. If there's any opportunity for the town to save money, I think that option of saving money versus being available should be weighed. And I'm not voting one way or the other without either, but I just think there's an important opportunity here that could potentially save some money if folks aren't turning out. But again, I think just having both options would be helpful for a lot of folks.
Okay.
I would also like to echo some of that. I think the town clerk is an elected official in town, and if they're the ones running the elections and it's through their department, the voters can also decide through voting whether or not they agree with the town clerk. It's an interesting position, just as they can disagree or agree with any of us here. So she is an elected official. That position is an elected position. And I would also like to see data so we kind of understand what we're voting on. Right now, they don't have any data. Through discussions with the town clerk, the way the mornings usually run, because they're slow, is they run the mail-in votes in the morning. So the data would be skewed if they had any right now. So they're going to have to find a way to count that. I'd like to see something. I understand they want to have it uniform with state elections, but I would just like to see the data before I put a vote on it. And just so the public knows, any vote on this does not affect the override vote. This would be past that. That override vote is already put in.
Good clarification. Councilor Elmer, did you have a comment?
Just a comment that I think that in general we should be very conservative about limiting hours at the voting polls, and just because that could be potentially disenfranchisement of voters. And so yes, we all look for ways to save money, but I don't think that that is an appropriate one. Merely a comment.
Noted. Councilor Perry.
Thank you. Through you to actually our town secretary. If we send this to advertising, do we have a specific amount of time that we would have to act on it after it's sent to advertising as far as the council goes, or do we have?
You can refer it to advertising. I could put it on hold until you decide to put it on another agenda.
Oh, right, so we don't have to bring it obviously right to the
I don't
next
have to put it
agenda.
on the next one. I could put it on August. I could put it on September.
Exactly.
It
So
would
we,
just sit in a,
and that's what I thought. So we could refer to advertising, but we
Refer,
can
and then
bring
we
it
can
back
just-
once more data
Yeah.
was brought forward and we could review at that time.
And the earliest it would come back anyway would be in July, yes,
Okay,
which is
July
after the
15th.
override vote.
yep.
Okay. Any further discussion?
I have one.
Yes.
So I've heard from a couple residents, and I explained to them about their data, and they said as long as one person shows up, we should keep the hours the same. And their opinion, voting is the voices of the residents, and it should be opened the hours. Because we never know who, and people do work on Saturdays.
Mhm. Any further discussion or comments from councilors?
Per the voting laws in the state does limit them, so we wouldn't be able to do, say, something very small, like a couple of hours during the day. They're required to stay open until 8 p.m., and really what it can be altered is the morning hours, and they can go up until noon. I believe ours currently is 10 o'clock, which is what the clerk was looking to do moving forward from my discussion with her. So just so there are limits to even what we can do based on state law, just so we have that. Thank you.
Yeah, so my comments here, and yeah, I think as it's written right now, it could be as late as 10 p.m., but just so we don't confuse anybody at home, the override vote does begin at 7 a.m. But how the code is written, it could begin as late as 10 a.m. And I share this similar sentiments to my counselors here. I wouldn't want to suppress the vote of any individual. So while I love to save money whenever possible, that is not an area of which I'm interested in saving money, especially if we have a counselor that's running a write-in campaign. I would like to give anybody that's willing to run for public office the opportunity to have their supporters come out at any time of the day. So this is one of the reasons why I put forward this ordinance. So with all that being said, that's all the only comments that I have. So do I have a vote to, or rather looking for approval to send this to advertising? Should we do a roll call vote on this one?
Sure. Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Ms. Ellenberg?
Yes.
Ms. Striggles? Yes. Ms. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Loretti?
Yes.
Dr. Perry?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Ms. Hunt?
Yes.
And Mr. Lindy?
Yes.
9 in favor, 0 opposed.
Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on, proposed zoning ordinance FY 25-018, zoning map amendment. So what we're looking to do just here tonight is to change the sponsor of the ordinance. This was sponsored by Councilor Fred Chase. So I'm looking for a motion to change the sponsor to Councilor Perry.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
Seconded.
And second by Councilor Striggles. Any further discussion? Yes.
Just again, on behalf of Mr. Chase's work, I was involved on it, and it's already been reviewed by Planning Board, so I'm happy to put my name on this in his place.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next, ordinance FY 25-019, adoption of Clause 22I of the Massachusetts General Law Hero Act. Rules and Procedures had this before them at their May 27th meeting, and I'll defer to Councilor McGrath for her comments.
We voted 3-0 to approve.
Great, thank you. So all that I'm looking to do here today is to refer to Budget and Finance and the Finance Committee to have them take a look at Clause 22I. Budget and Finance looked at 22J today. We would like to look at those in concert along with other tax exemptions for not only veterans but also senior citizens and anybody that would be eligible for those property tax exemptions. So we would do that as a collaborative effort. So with all that being said, do I have a motion to refer to Budget and Finance Finance Committee?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. And any further discussion?
I just have a comment. We had a great presentation this evening from Mr. Pitta, who offered to come in and talk about 22J. I would just like to say thank you for that service, and I would love to have you at further meetings if possible, if available, whether in person or by phone, because I found that incredibly helpful today. And it was very nice of him to give up his own time to be there. And so just wanted to give a shout out and also welcome him on future engagements if possible.
Yeah, I'll second that. He was fantastic. He provided a lot of information. So I'd love to bring Mr. Pitta back to present perhaps to the full council if that's something that we're all interested in. And he'll definitely be back to discuss that with us at Budget and Finance for sure. Do we have any further discussion or comment?
One more final comment. Councilor Chase is also listed on here. We should probably make an amendment to, do we need to change that? Does it matter because the other two are on there? Can he stay on there?
Should remove him. It doesn't practically matter if the other sponsors are here, but I think it's just good course to remove him.
Because we have a motion on the table to refer, should we leave it as is and then amend later on?
Yeah, you're fine doing that either way. So long as one of the other two sponsors are present, you're fine.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Any further discussion on referring? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay, last one on legislation for action. We have a resolution FY25-013, resolution support for the FY 2026 annual budget. This measure was not referred to committee and 14 days have elapsed, and then therefore we can consider this resolution. So I put forward this resolution due to how the budget process kind of unfolded here. We had our hearing officially this evening, and we had our comments in the budget on the budget which was presented, and because we weren't able to go through that formality, I decided to put forward a resolution stating that this council is in support of the proposed town manager budget, and that we will continue to be stewards of the town's finances as they are budgeted here. So I'm looking just for a motion to approve the resolution and any discussion.
So moved.
Councilor Strigels, thank you, and Councilor Ellenberg. Any discussion on the resolution? I know we had already discussed the budget earlier, but any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
And any opposed? Great, motion carries. Okay, so we do not have any old business. We're moving on to new business. Order FY 25-068. United Steelworkers bargaining contract ratification, and I'll defer to the town manager for this one.
So I'm pleased to report that we have reached a tentative settlement agreement with the United Steelworkers Union. This union represents supervisors, generally employees within the town. This is for a successor contract that would be will go back to July 1 of 2024, this fiscal year, for a 3-year period.
Thank you. So what we're looking to do here is to refer to Budget and Finance and the Finance Committee. Do I have a motion to refer?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilor Hunt and Councilor Lindy. Any discussion referring out to our committees? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, next, order FY 25-069, United Steelworkers Collective Bargaining Appropriation Transfer, and I will again defer to town manager on this one.
So along with a settlement of the contract, we need an order to fund the cost of living increases that this contract would require for the current fiscal year. And so this order would transfer funds from the one-time stabilization fund as well as small amounts from the water and sewer special reserves because two of the employees are work in water and sewer who are covered by this contract. These employees already received their step increases if they were due one last July, but this would fund just the cost of living adjustment for them for a total of $67,654 for the current fiscal year.
Okay, thank you. So we're just looking to refer this to Budget and Finance Committee, similar to the previous motion. Do I have the motion to refer?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Perry. Any discussion on referring to our committees? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
And any opposed? Thank you. Okay, next, Order FY 25-070, non-union affiliated positions, appropriation transfer. Again, deferring to the town manager here.
So thank you, Mr. President. The town has a longstanding tradition of once the United Steelworkers Union contract is settled, we take the STAMES, we hold off on any COLA transfers for non-union employees until this contract settles. So those employees did not receive a COLA this past July, if not throughout this year. And so this order would fund COLAs for those employees in a total of $38,279 for the current fiscal year.
Thank you. And similar to the other orders, looking for a motion to refer to Budget and Finance Committee.
So moved.
Second.
Councillor Hunt and Councillor Lindy, thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
And any opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right. So that is all that we have for new business. We're now going to move on to our citizen comment period. Due to Massachusetts open meeting law requirements, discussions will not take place during the public comment periods. If appropriate, responses to questions and concerns will be given by the town manager at a future town council meeting. Anyone may come up at this time, state their name and address for the record, and comment for up to 3 minutes. I'll wave at you about 30 seconds that you have left. And would anybody like to come up and speak?
Carlton Hunt, Austin Street. I need to make a correction to one of the votes tonight. The Energy Committee is not a commission. Your agenda had it as a commission. We are an advisory committee to the town of Bridgewater. I want to thank you for reappointing me to these committees. I've been involved with them for a couple decades. I want to remind the council that the admin code has some requirements for both the Energy Committee, the Community Preservation Committee, the Town Clerk, and the Library Board of Trustees to come before this board annually. That has not happened for the Energy Committee for 2 years, for the CPC for 3 years. So I would request that we put on your agenda stat. I also suggest that you review your rules, because it says in your rules that if I ask a question tonight of you, you are to respond if you know the answer or put it on the next agenda. So the questions I want to ask you tonight is, how many of you have studied the charter? How many of you have studied the admin code? And number 3, how many of you have studied the rules and protocols for the town council? Because it's very clear that some of you are a little confused about some things, and I'd like you guys to get really on top of this. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to come up and speak?
Good evening. Bob Cormier, 65 Grange Park. Just wanted to speak on the TIF committee discussion. I really appreciate, I attended the CED committee meeting earlier, really appreciate the collaborative effort there. I do just want to point out as the applicant, not that I get an opinion, but the most important commodity here is time. Nothing has changed from my first presentation other than the fact that we've lost 2 months because we didn't have a process. A process has been established. Let's please be decisive. I can't stress that enough, and frankly, it doesn't matter to me who is appointed here. I can work collaboratively and transparently with anyone. I just ask that you make a decision. If that's the CED +2, if that's a new appointed ad hoc, just please be decisive, because in looking at this schedule, we have 1 meeting in July, 1 meeting in August. That means no real progress if we don't take action until the fall. We might as well stop the process right now, if I'm being frank. My commitment to you, I have a whole laundry list of deliverables in this new process. You'll have them on the day that they're due, in full transparency and full completeness, ready to have a discussion. I just ask the same of you to be decisive and be committed to it. I know it's labor intensive, but it's important, and I'm going to continue to fight for it because I believe that's what's right for this community. And that's it. And just, I guess, another comment that's unrelated. I didn't hear anything about the Memorial Day service. Incredibly well done. Thank you to everybody that put that together. Speaking of what's worth fighting for, I had $2 in each arm, the other one around my leg, and I looked at my wife and said, this is what's worth fighting for. And then to publicly thank Mr. Moore for the Hometown Heroes banner. Trying not to get choked up here. To walk downtown and my daughters run up to that post and hug it and say, this is my great-grandfather, is incredible. So that's worth fighting for. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Mike Flaherty, 468 Forest Street. I also own a business here on 120 High Street where the dam was removed and the High Street Bridge was replaced. I gave complete access to my land for the town, the contractor, and the licensed site professional to go on the land and get the access to the river and do their construction work. Unbeknownst to me, until October of 2023, the project started in February of 2023. Unbeknownst to me, there were PCBs in the riverbed. And in a very unprofessional way, the contractor, with the direction of the town and the town manager, who met every 2 weeks at progress meetings, went in with an excavator. They divided the river in half. So one half was dry, the other half had the water flowing through. And they excavated the PCBs. I didn't know they were in there until the whole process was done. They never asked permission, and they dumped 100 yards of this PCB carcinogenic material on my land. I tried for a year and invited Michael Dutton for 10 meetings to try to square this away. He never came to a meeting. The day of the celebration that he was in charge of, I spoke to a federal fisheries lady that I had met previously when I gave access to my land, and also the Department of Environmental Restoration. And I said, you know, this is great, the celebration. My wife and I were at the celebration. We were proud that the dam was removed, the fish can pass. But I said, there's a sub-story to this. Without permission, the town of Bridgewater, the contractor, and the licensed site professional dumped 100 yards of this cancer-causing material on my back of my land without getting any permission from me. I've been wronged by the town. I love the town. But the lies that came from that office and not coming to meetings for 10 meetings have infuriated me. They've cost me financial, because the town paid for 100 yards of this material to be excavated and incinerated in Emile, Alabama. That's how caustic it was. And he wouldn't make a meeting, wouldn't come to a meeting. So finally, at the end of the celebration, the two people from the federal government went up to him and said, is this true that there's a sub-story here? And he came over to me. Now, I've been on the Recreation Commission for 20 years. I do a lot of projects with Charlie Simons years ago, and I love doing everything for kids. I just finished with another guy, Stefano D'Amelia, put new goalposts out at the youth football. We dug the holes with my truck. I paid for the fuel. We lined up the field goal post. I just welded 3 new scoreboards in my shop for Little League and Babe Ruth. So I love the town. I love doing things for the recreation and for the kids. But this town is not the same. It's getting so that people are mishandled, and I've been mishandled tremendously. I would like to invite every one of you to come down to my shop. I'll give you my phone number, 508-328-4152, and get the truths behind what took place. I finally, after a year of trying to mediate with that corner office and getting all the paperwork in order. And this attorney wrote to my attorney, no, we're not mediating.
Mr. Flaherty, I don't want to be rude, but would you mind wrapping up your comments?
What?
I don't mean to cut you off, but would you mind wrapping up your comments? You're a little bit beyond the 3 minutes, and I really appreciate your story, and I do need to get back to your email as well, but would you mind just wrap up your comments in the next minute or so? Thank you.
Where was I? But I would like to get the truth out, and I would like to invite any of you people to come out. Now, you can decide on your own if I'm truthful or not. But I have a lot of progress reports, paperwork that I've got through the Freedom of Information Act. And the town manager knew in March of 2023 that this problem was in existence. He told my wife he knew nothing about it in June of 2023. So there's been some miscalculations here, and I just would like to invite anyone. You can see if I'm telling the truth or not. There's supposed to be riprap put on that. There's supposed to be soil that was supposed to be covered over. The town employees are not doing their job the way they've left that, and I'd like to have you come down and see it. I used to love this town, but I've been mistreated.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Any further comments from citizens? Okay, thank you very much. I will now move on to council comments. I'll start with my left, Councillor Lindy.
In light of what we heard tonight from the 4th of July committee, I just want to really put in a pitch. I've done it 3 times. Go to Barrett's, have dinner. It's 20% of the bill, goes right to the 4th of July committee. Donate yourself, buy a T-shirt. Got 2 T-shirts, probably get a third, but they need our help. And I hope that we can address this better next year and run it through budget and finance and have the town contribute to this too, because I've only been here for 6 years, but I can't see what it would be like if we didn't have that happen and all the volunteer work that's gone into it. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Councillor Hunt.
Yes, I agree with all that Mark said. And Mr. Flaherty, I'm very sorry. We live close to where your property is. I understand what's happened, and I'm terribly sorry, and if we can do anything about it, we will try. I know Mr. Flaherty, when we built Music Alley, showed up, drilled the hole for us, and put up the Music Alley, the beautiful Music Alley. Yeah, Charlie too. So I'm very, very sorry that that's happened to you. I hope we can do something to help it. Thanks.
Thank you. Councillor Murphy.
Yeah, I just want to echo the statement about the 4th of July committee. I think they have done incredible work. They've done incredible work for a long time. It's saddened to hear that fundraising is down as much as it is, but not surprised by that given the current economy. So employ folks to give as much as possible, if possible. I also wanted to just mention that I had the privilege today to go to the State House once again and testify with Councillor Striggles, so I'm sure we'll also touch upon this. Tonight was in light of Chapter 71, school transportation, employing the state to give 100% reimbursement for school transportation. Said it a million times, if we're going to ask citizens of this town to contribute more, we should also be doing the same for the state. And so continuing to fight that battle and hoping that made somewhat of a difference. Also, thank you to our veterans agent, Greg Martin, for Memorial Day celebrations. I wasn't able to attend for the celebration itself, but I've heard incredible things and feedback from citizens. I also was able to see the pictures that were posted online. It looked like a great event, as it has been in years past. And so just thank you for that. And then finally, had the chance to speak yesterday at the flag raising at the Bridgewater Public Library. It was a great event. Thank you to Bridgewater BCCR for their work and commitment to that, and looking forward to attending the Juneteenth event later this month.
Thank you. Councillor Perry.
Thank you. And again, similar to the other councillors, just to echo the sentiments of all the work Keith and Lisa have been doing and the rest of the committee for the 4th of July for the past 20 years. I was president way back at the turn of the millennium of the committee for a couple of years. And the reward of putting on the event back then was the picking up of the trash the next day. So again, it's a lot of work, so I certainly recommend those attending to please come on out and help that next day to help pick up the trash, to get those fields cleaned up for the kids if they are playing baseball that day. But again, please contribute to the 4th of July if you can. Going back to when I was president, it's all been donation, it's all been fundraising, and our budget back then was only about $20,000, so it's certainly grown over the past 25 years. It's not a cheap event to put on, so whatever you can give, and then the other thing we used to do is collect donations at the event itself, so maybe that's something else that they can do. I also want to thank all those that were appointed and reappointed this evening. I thank you for your volunteerism and stepping up, and we appreciate your service to do that. But also to mention the Memorial Day services. They were fantastic. We had a great day of weather. Thank our Veterans Agent Greg Martin again for putting it all together, and all those that attended. And thank you to all the service members that attended there, and we thank you for your service, and obviously we remember those that we lost. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Striggles.
Thank you, Mr. President. So, as always, I want to thank everyone who attended our meeting tonight. It doesn't go unnoticed, and we always appreciate you being here. So thank you for staying engaged and keeping town business and town operations top of mind. I stand by my commitment to roll my brick donation to be added to the donation I already made to the 4th of July. So Keith and Lisa, I will reach out to you separately. I appreciate all that you do, and the town is lucky to have dedicated volunteers, a mighty 7 that make our town shine on the 4th of July. And I would hate for this to be one of the last years that we have it, simply because of finances. So I fully commit to that. As Councilor Murphy mentioned before, we had the benefit and honor of testifying today at the State House regarding transportation funding and making sure that when we are asking our taxpayers to pay more, that the state also does, and not only that, that they just live up to the promises that they make for all of us as taxpayers. So it was a rewarding experience being able to do it. I never thought, Councilor Murphy said it in his statement, I never thought when I ran for this that I would be at the State House testifying about transportation funding, but here we are. And I was lucky to do it and proud to do it. I also want to remind residents of the Juneteenth flag raising that will take place next Monday at 3 p.m. at the library. I have the honor of speaking and hope to see everyone in attendance. And finally, because we won't have a meeting prior, I really wanted to just extend a happy Father's Day to all the fathers in the room. I am a proud daughter of a great dad, so I know that I'll be celebrating him this year wholeheartedly, and I just wanted to extend that to everyone at the table and in the audience that holds that title. So, happy Father's Day.
Councilor Ellenberg.
Thank you. First of all, I wanted to say that the Memorial Day celebration was absolutely excellent. So that was very well done. The farmers market that occurred this weekend was also excellent. So I want to compliment that as well. Some things that I personally would like to work towards would be having Bridgewater State University involved in our solution to our water problems. And BSU has a substantial endowment, and perhaps they can put in for infrastructure. And so that is a goal that I have. Another goal that I have is to have a forensic audit on the old Scotland links. I have had probably 15 to 20 residents tell me that the old Scotland links contract was not in the best interest of Bridgewater's finances. And so that is another thing I'll be bringing. And other than that, thank you for everyone for coming.
Thank you. And Councilor Kennedy.
Yep. So Memorial Day celebration was fantastic. My family enjoyed it immensely, and it was also great seeing all of you counselors that were able to attend. It was a great event. It was great seeing the public, and just overall, I've been to a lot of those, and it was very, very well done. So I also want to thank the 4th of July committee for coming out and speaking. I look forward to buying a T-shirt. I hope that we can raise that funding. It seems like this is a continuing issue, so I wouldn't be opposed to looking at something else next year if we were able to. But I would like the public to get out and try to support that effort. We are one of the few towns that does this now, so we are getting a lot of other towns, residents coming to Bridgewater. So if we can capitalize on that in some way, I think we should in the future, whether it's opening our businesses up to our residents of other towns or maybe getting other people to contribute as a regional effort would be fantastic. As well, I want to thank the public for being here. You're an important part of this, as always, so thank you for coming out and speaking out. And also thank you to the other counselors. It was an efficient meeting, so thank you for your time as well. Thanks.
Thank you. And Vice President McGrath.
Thank you, Mr. President. Memorial Parade was quite an event, and you, Mr. Rolletti, you did a nice speech. We enjoyed that very much. I don't know if many of you know that I have a podcast at BTV called Moments with Mary. Twice a week, President Loretti and I do a podcast, and we talk about the items that are upcoming on the agenda. We're trying to keep everyone informed. I also have some different guests on, such as Mrs. Robinson, and I will continue to do that so we can know what the roles of the community is. And if you have any ideas, you can send it to me, and I'll try to reach out to that person. And on June 21st at BSU, I'll be speaking at the Juneteenth celebration. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President McGrath. And for me, I wanted to thank the councilors, Strigels and Councilor Murphy, for representing us at the State House today. I really appreciate your volunteerism and advocating for us, the town and the residents. I really appreciate, personally, that you guys went out there and did that. The commute into Boston is a tough one, and I do it almost every day. For my next thank yous go to our committees and their chairs. I know that everybody met within the last week, and I appreciate the work that you all are doing. So thank you to our committees for their involvement. I look forward to continue to work with them. And just to echo some other sentiments from our counselors, the Farmers Market was a great event, and you really want to recognize Alice Serta and the Fire for Effect team for putting that on. It was very successful. Their next one, if assuming the website is correct, is June 28th. Saturday, June 28th, and then there is one in July, July 26th, and then we're looking into September and October. So these are going to be going on throughout the summer and into the fall. Spring, summer, fall is a very exciting time here in Bridgewater, and one of the first things that my wife and I recognized was the 4th of July celebration, and I hope to continue to see that here in the town, and to see these farmers markets and to participate in events such as Memorial Day. And thank you to Greg Martin for putting on an incredible event. It was really nice to march with my new family and to have the honor of speaking. We had a really nice time, just remembering all those who sacrificed for us. So thank you all to my fellow counselors for a great meeting. And with that, that's all I have, and I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, thanks.